Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribers to the channel, as always. So Manchester United go up against Wolves tonight in the Premier League, of course, at Molineux, of course. Can Manchester United beat Wolves this evening, of course, as well? Well, the good positive is I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is currently going to rotate the squad for this game tonight against Wolves. This is the 101st meeting in all competitions between Wolves and Manchester United, of course. Wolves suffering a defeat at the weekend, of course, to Burnley. Of course, I think from Wolves' perspective, they're fighting to get qualifier for the Europa League, of course, as well. And overall, I've analysed their season, and Wolves have had a really, really good season, to be quite honest with you. The record against the big teams has been very, very impressive this season. Indeed, knocking Liverpool out of the FA Cup, knocking us out of the FA Cup. Getting points from Tottenham. Getting I think points from Arsenal as well. Beating Chelsea. So they've done really, really well against the big teams this season. Of course, with Wolves as well. And Nuno Santo, has done a pretty decent job, to be quite honest with you, as well. But at home, especially, they're very, very good because they haven't lost at home since the beginning of the new year, of course, as well. So potentially, we want to see a better performance than we currently saw at the weekend. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was reflecting on that game at the weekend against Watford. And obviously, he says Manchester United were below par in that game. We just looked more ruthless in front of goal, against Watford. To be quite honest, when we had our chances, we took our chances. And I think the difference was the finishing in the final third, to be quite honest, because another day, probably Watford, deserved at least a point in that game because they had the chance in the game, but they just weren't clinical enough in front of goal, to be quite honest with you, as well. But it was good to see us get us win. It was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first match as permanent Manchester United boss as well. But at the end of the day, Manchester United got the win, and that's all that currently matters. But we do want to see a better performance tonight. Obviously, we want to get the result tonight, so so Manchester United can keep our top four ambitions alive, of course. And obviously, we want to get the players to the highest level in the summer. So it's essential we get Champions League, of course, for next season. So it's either we finish in the top four, or of course we'll win the Champions League, so we can get Champions League for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window, of course, as well. But going into this game tonight against Wolves, Martial I think is going to be available because he actually sustained a knock against Watford, of course. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has obviously confirmed that Martial is going to be available, of course. Well, still got immense talent, very, very young indeed. Still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think Lukaku could be available tonight for Manchester United as well. Don't know if he'll start, but I think he could be available because not too long ago, Lukaku had a current ankle injury, as we all know as well. And obviously before the international break, Lukaku was in really, really good form for Manchester United. He was good alongside Rashford in that front line, to be quite honest. And I think Lukaku performs better when he's getting that support up front because he looks very, very effective indeed as Romelu Lukaku. And overall, he's got a very, very good pedigree in the Premier League. And before the international break, he was in a really, really good form indeed as Romelu Lukaku. So he could be available to play tonight. I think Lindelof, of course, as well, is set to return because he didn't play at the weekend against Watford, of course, as well. Not too sure why he didn't play. I didn't really read it up, but I think he could return tonight, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed. And mainly he's been going with Lindelof and Smalling as a centre-back partnership. And to quite fair, since Smalling's recovered from injury, they have blended in very, very well together. And I think Smalling's performances have really, really improved, to be quite honest with you. But against Watford, he went with Smalling and Jones as a centre-back partnership, of course, as well. Potentially, I'd probably drop Ashley Young as well because I think Ashley Young's past it now, and I think he's getting exploited far too easily. I analysed the Watford game, and I think he must have lost the possession about 20 times, so potentially I would bring Diego Dalot into contention, to be quite honest with you. But I think the one thing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to do tonight, I think he could rotate that midfield as well, to be quite honest with you. He may drop Nemanja Matic, of course. I do think we need a centre defensive midfielder, that's fast and tenacious, of course, as well, because Matic, his performances overall have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I think he's too slow. I've got strong reservations about him, to be quite honest with you as well. So potentially he could be dropped tonight, even possibly Herrera could be dropped tonight, so he may rotate it a little bit in that midfield, to be quite honest with you as well. And when Manchester United did have that injury crisis, especially in that midfield, and then it allowed Solskjaer to give the fringe players a chance, Pereira and McTominay, they were very, very impressive indeed. So tonight, I'd like to see maybe Scott McTominay get a chance, or maybe Andrews Pereira, get a chance, to be quite honest with you as well. But definitely the midfield currently needs sorting out, of course, well. So he'll probably make about 3 or 4 changes tonight with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. This is 21st game all in all because we've won 15 out of 20 so far. This is second game as permanent boss, of course, as well. But I think if Manchester United, can get at least 15 points out of the remainder of these 7 games, I do believe that Manchester United, of course, can finish in the top 3, because now our objective is either to finish in the top 4, of course, or win the Champions League so we can get Champions League football, of course, for next season, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has obviously got the Manchester United job on a full-time basis, of course. The most essential thing is that he does get the right players, to come in this summer. I think he's identified the key areas where he does fit Manchester United, of course, need to strengthen up, but now he's permanent boss. It's a 3-year deal, as we all know, and obviously his expectation levels is going to be to get Manchester United, back to the way we were under Alex Ferguson. And, I think, he's obviously his expectation levels is to elevate to that high level, get us in that commanding position where I want to be, and get us up there challenging and winning major honours, of course. So that'll be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's expectation levels, of course. We know he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree in terms of like winning any major honours and that, but his objective is to get Manchester United, winning silverware, of course, as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. But I think we're going to get around 200 odd million pounds to spend this summer. I do think Manchester United need at least 4 players, of course, this summer. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority is to actually, get a right winner into Manchester United, of course. I think he's keen on bringing the right back in. He's keen on adding depth in that midfield, of course, as well. There's still some contract renewals to sort out. Obviously, players are going to leave Manchester United, of course, this summer as well. And it's also very essential we strengthen up this summer, because we know other teams are going to strengthen their squads up this summer. Probably Arsenal are going to spend in the summer. Probably Liverpool may spend this summer. Liverpool, spent quite a lot of money last summer as well. They spent about 171 million last summer. Chelsea are going to spend this summer. If that transfer ban, gets delayed, of course, as well. So potentially, teams are going to spend this summer, of course, as well. And we do need to get the right players who I think have got the ability, to elevate Manchester United, of course, in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, as well. So that's very, very essential indeed. But we do know that players are going to leave Manchester United, of course, this summer, as we all know as well. But essentially for me, Solskjaer's the right man for Manchester United. He knows the club inside out. Don't forget, as we all know, a great player he was there for 11 years, scored a lot of goals, won a lot of trophies and all that, and he flourished under Alex Ferguson there for 11 years. And I think he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well, and he has brought the fear factor back to the club, as we all know as well. But I think the most essential thing is that potentially Manchester United looking to hire a director, footballer to come in, obviously to change the club structure and all that, of course, well, because Solskjaer does need some backing in the summer transfer window, of course. But Solskjaer's been negotiating with Ed Woodward, what players should come in, what players should go. In some ways, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is emphasising his targets, and I think he's identified his top 3 targets as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be quite honest with you, as well. But it's going to be a difficult game tonight. Wolves invested quite a bit of money last summer, and we do not hope to see the repeat of the FA Cup game. Obviously, Wolves win the FA Cup semi-final as well, so Wolves will be potentially thinking about that, of course, as well. I think if Man United win tonight, though, we go in the top 3. If I'm quite sure, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure about that, to be quite honest. So I think we do go 3rd if we do currently win tonight, guys, to be quite honest with you as well. But it's going to be a difficult game, as we all know. The results against the big teams have been very, very impressive this season, of course, indeed, as well. And as they have been updating you on some regular transfer rumours that have been currently going on in the media, as they updated you earlier on today, that Manchester United reportedly have a good chance of signing Rafael Varane this summer from Real Madrid, because recent reports have said that reportedly Rafael Varane has informed Real Madrid that he's interested in leaving Real Madrid this summer. Reportedly, is Rafael Varane. Manchester United have been linked with him, of course, as well, and he'd address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well, and they're the type of players in that calibre, that Manchester United should be, targeting, of course, as well, because we do obviously want the players, that play to the highest level, of course, and obviously Rafael Varane, of course, he's one of them. He's been at Real Madrid 8 years. He's remained loyal to Real Madrid, for 8 years, of course, as well. I think he's attracting interest, from quite a few teams across Europe. I think Juventus have also been interested in Rafael Varane, of course, as well. Obviously, from Zinedine Zidane's perspective, he wouldn't want to lose Rafael Varane, but obviously we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line, of course, as well. Because potentially Eric Bailly's future's uncertain with Manchester United, because he's been in and out of the team this season, even though I still highly rate him. Jones' future's uncertain with the club. Rojo could be on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well, because his Manchester United career has been effective, amount of injuries he's currently suffered as well. So I think Rojo could be on his way out this summer, of course, as well. So potentially we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, and I think Rafael Varane would be a great leader in our back line, to be quite honest with you, as well. But reports are saying that reportedly he's told Real Madrid that he's considering leaving this summer. It did say Manchester United are preparing to put a bid in of around £100 million for Rafael Varane, of course, as well. But he's been at Real Madrid 8 seasons. It's remarkable what he's achieved. Rafael Varane is only 25 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest with him as well. It would be good for him to come and experience these facilities, it would be good for him to come and experience English football as well. But his pedigree, in Spain with Real Madrid is absolutely fantastic indeed. He's still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022 as Rafael Varane, of course, as well. He was very, very good in the World Cup last summer, but potentially I think he's got a release clause in his current deal of around £431 million as Rafael Varane, of course, as well. He's 25 years of age. That's all Rafael Varane is, 25 years of age. He's a really, really good player. He address our deficiencies in that defensive area, fantastically well indeed. He reads the game well. His defensive capabilities are good. He shows that ability that he can play out from the back, of course, as well. And they're the type of players we should be targeting, of course, to be quite honest with you, as well. He's obviously an ex-Lens player where he actually began his career, Rafael Varane, of course, as well. But obviously, I think he's won about 15, 16 major honours, is it, or something like that as well. But there's been a lot of talks about it saying that he's in form Real Madrid. He may consider leaving Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. But only 25 years of age is Rafael Varane, as we all know, as well. So potentially Manchester United are linked to him as well. But there's been other central defenders that Man United have been linked to, to be quite honest with him as well. To be quite honest with you, recent reports did reveal, was it earlier on this month, that Solskjaer's wasn't too interested in buying many defenders, reportedly, to be quite honest with you, because he was focused on other areas of the squad, to be quite honest with you. So he wasn't interested in buying any defenders, because he knows we've improved defensively since he's come in. He's focusing on basically, other areas of the squad, of course, as well. But Rafael Varane, would be a perfect addition, if he came to Manchester United, as we all know, as well. So he's being mentioned in the media as Rafael Varane, of course, as well. There's other defenders Manchester United have been interested in as well. We do know that Natalie's Koulibaly has also been mentioned in the media as well. And he plays to the highest level as well at Koulibaly. Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Koulibaly, as we all know as well. Obviously, he's still got a contract with Napoli till 2023. Manchester United were linked to him last summer. Manchester United were linked with him back in January, of course, as well, but we never came to an agreement, to get him, of course, as well. Potentially, recent reports have said that Ancelotti has currently confirmed that he's not for sale, and Ancelotti insists that he will not leave Napoli this summer, of course, as well. But recent reports did say potentially, Manchester United have been informed that if Manchester United had any chance of getting him this summer, potentially it would cost Manchester United around £138 million to get Koulibaly this summer, of course, as well. So he's a very, very good player indeed. He's versatile. He's 27 years of age, of course, as well. He's very, very good in the air. Shows that ability, to play out from the back. And his performances in Italy, have been absolutely unbelievable indeed. I think this is his fifth season now with Napoli, of course, as well. But potentially, Manchester United have been long admirers of the player, of course. Well, we had 3 bids turned down for him in January. The recent one, of course, was £95 million. That had been turned down, of course, because obviously last summer our priority, was to get a centre back in, of course, as well. But potentially last summer, we didn't get as priority targets, of course, as well. We didn't spend out, of course, in January as well. So potentially, Solskjaer's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, and of course, buying into our history, of course, as well. We do know overall since Ferguson's left, a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United, as we all know, about £700 million, something like that, because we've had different managers with different philosophies, of course, as well, as we all currently know. But potentially, we have spent a lot of money overall since Ferguson retired, of course, as well. But potentially, we're going to get over £200 million to spend this summer. Potentially, is that enough, to get the players that Manchester United want and need, of course, as well. So yeah, potentially, there's been a lot of talks about Koulibaly, going on as well. But there's also other reports, coming out. I want to give you an update on as well. Is in relation to Philippe Coutinho. Now, more reports have updated on Philippe Coutinho. I do want to give you an update on him, of course, as well, because in relation to Philippe Coutinho, I don't think he's been a Manchester United priority target. But now reports are coming out. The rumours do continue to persist about that Coutinho is likely to leave Barcelona, of course, this summer after he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time, in Spain with Barcelona. He hasn't lived up to expectation levels. This is why there's been speculation of Coutinho leaving Barcelona, of course, this summer. So now reports are saying that Manchester United are interested, Chelsea are interested, and also too Paris Saint-Germain are reportedly interested in Coutinho as well. And reportedly, Manchester United, Chelsea, and PSG have all made contact, with Philippe Coutinho's agent over the summer transfer. Reportedly, Coutinho's mainly an attacking mid. He can also play as a winner, of course, as well. But we did hear the rumours back in January, that Man United made negotiations with Philippe Coutinho's representatives, of course, as well. But there's been a lot of rumours going on about it, because he's enjoyed a difficult time with Barcelona. He hasn't been getting the game time regular, that he would have liked, of course, as well. I think Barcelona are willing to let him go for around £110 million this summer, reportedly as well. So potentially Barcelona are not going to recoup the initial £142 million they paid for him from Liverpool in January of last year, of course, as well. I still think he's got a long contract with Barcelona, as Philippe Coutinho, as well. But there's a lot of rumours, still going on about it, to be quite honest with you, as well. But potentially, I think Philippe Coutinho's considering leaving, because I think he's told some of his teammates that he's considering leaving Barcelona, of course, this summer, of course, as well. Obviously, he's failed to replicate the form, that he did at Liverpool, because to be fair, he did have 5 good years with Liverpool, did Philippe Coutinho, as we all currently know, but he's failed, to prove himself in Spain with Barcelona. Of course, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time, with Barcelona, of course, as well. Obviously, Manchester United, want a midfielder now, of course, as well, but reports are saying potentially, that Barcelona are willing to let him go for around 110 million, but I think he's the third most expensive player in world football at the moment, as well as Philippe Coutinho. So there has been reports, going on about that as well in the media. But potentially, big breaking news, guys, as you currently heard yesterday, it's very, very disappointing news, for a lot of Manchester United fans, to be quite honest with you, as well. In that, reportedly, Ander Herrera is set to leave Manchester United on a free transfer this summer, because reports came out yesterday. It got revealed by Duncan Castles that reportedly Ander Herrera has reportedly signed a pre-contract agreement with PSG. So reportedly he's agreed a deal to join PSG on a free at the end of the season, of course, as well. And that's very, very disappointing news for a lot of Manchester United fans, of course. A lot of Manchester United fans are going to think, that's just £30 million thrown away, because obviously we're bought him for 30 million, 5 years ago from Atletico Bilbao, of course, as well. And he's been a very consistent player for Manchester United. He's potentially, one of our best players, to be quite honest with you. His tenacity is very, very good. He's very tenacious in the midfield, he breaks up the play very, very well. Does Ander Herrera, of course. But I think the reason this has happened is because Manchester United have actually been locked in contract negotiations, with Ander Herrera, of course, as well. We've been locked in contract negotiations with Ander Herrera, but reports were coming out the day before yesterday saying that reportedly he was demanding that he wanted a wage increase, and he was demanding that he wanted around £200,000 a week, to remain loyal to Manchester United, to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, as well. But reportedly, Manchester United were not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands, of course, as well. So potentially, this has made him now make a decision on his future, and he's going to PSG on a free at the end of the season, of course, as well. So I think potentially Ander Herrera is unimpressed, with our offer of a new long-term deal, of course, as well. But he's a really, really good player, is Ander Herrera, as we all know. I think it is a 3-year deal, by the way. He's signed with PSG, but it is on a free. But I think it's a 3-year deal, and PSG are willing to give him around £200,000 a week. I don't think he's a £200,000 a week player, but potentially these better players out there than Ander Herrera. But potentially, I still think we should have given him that £200,000 a week, of course, to convince him, to stay at Manchester United, because he is one of our most essential players. Of course, he's been here 5 years. He's made 187 appearances for the club, as well as Ander Herrera. I think 129 of them, have come in the league, of course, as well. But since Solskjaer's coming, his form's been rejuvenated. He's breaking the play very, very well. He's a good ball-playing midfielder, is Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So potentially now Solskjaer's got to weigh up options, to try and find a replacement for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. And obviously from PSG's perspective, obviously Thomas Tuchel is heading into his second season with Paris Saint-Germain, of course, and obviously he's keen on adding new additions into his midfield, of course, and obviously he's been looking for someone, to partner alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, because obviously, as you're all aware of, guys, as we all know, Adrien Rabiot is set to leave PSG on a free at the end of the season, of course, because he refused to sign a new contract. He comes to an end of his current contract at the end of this season, does Adrien Rabiot as well. So PSG are going to see Herrera as a good replacement, for Adrien Rabiot, of course. Well, I think he'll do well, in France, with Paris, to be quite honest with you. I think he'll be a great addition to their team. He'll bring a lot of tenacity to their team, of course, as well. So I think he'll do very, very well under Herrera, to be quite honest with you as well, unless Manchester United not even willing, to negotiate a swap deal, between Adrien Rabiot and Ander Herrera, because actually we could actually, try and negotiate a swap deal, because Herrera comes to an end of his deal at the end of the season, Adrien Rabiot comes to an end of his deal at the end of the season, of course, as well. But yeah, a lot of Manchester United fans, will be really, really disappointed about this, including myself, to be quite honest, because Ander Herrera is potentially, one of our best players, to be quite honest with you, but he isn't a £200,000 a week player. But then, the one thing I don't understand is why we give Jones a new long-term contract, why we give Chris Smalling a new new long-term contract, and I don't agree, you know, what they're getting, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. I don't get really why we give Ashley Young a new 1-year extension, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. But I think the whole in this is basically, you know, is Alexis Sanchez, isn't it? Look at Alexis Sanchez's wages. I think the wages Alexis Sanchez is currently getting, it's totally affected our wage structure in a bad way, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. He's our highest paid player, and he's done absolutely nothing at Manchester United, and he's an absolutely terrible player, and he's so ineffective. You know, when Sanchez has played, you can just see how ineffective he's been at Manchester United. Alexis Sanchez, you know, he's got an knee injury at the moment. I think he's set to return in April. Is Alexis Sanchez, of course. Well, he's been here just over a year at Manchester United, of course, but he's lacked goals and all that, and he just hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system, to be quite honest with you as well. I think Man United are intending on getting rid of him this summer. We do know it's going to be hard to find a buyer for Sanchez, you know, based on his performances at Manchester United, which have been very, very poor. Indeed, it's going to be hard to find a buy for him anywhere, considering his substantial wages he's currently on as well. So Man United even may consider loaning him out, or is Sanchez willing to take some kind of wage cut? I do not know, to be quite honest with you. So it just emphasises really how ineffective, you know, Sanchez has been. You know, that's goals. He's looked so restricted when he's played. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom. And he's not playing to the highest level anymore. Is Alexis Sanchez, as we all know, because he's age 30 now. He has lost that yard of pace, as we all know. But now we've obviously got obviously of what Sanchez is currently receiving. It's totally knackering our wage structure, and this is why players are demanding more money, you know, to sign new contracts. You know, Mata comes to an end of his deal at the end of the season, as we all know as well. De Gea is still yet to sign a new contract. De Gea hasn't signed a new contract, of course, yet. So potentially, yeah, it's looking like Ander Herrera is on his way out of Manchester United, of course, as well. So Man United now are going to have to weigh options up, you know, who we're going to get as a replacement for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. But I'm very, very disappointed, you know, about it, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. But there's been other players, you know, potentially Manchester United being interesting. So potentially could Adrian Rabiot be a good replacement for Herrera? I like Marco Verratti, you know, he'd be a good replacement for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. I do know Man United have been interested in Sporting Lisbon's Bruno Fernandes. You know, there's been a lot of talks about, you know, Bruno Fernandes, you know, going on as well in the media. You know, he's only very, very young. He's 24. He plays for Sporting Lisbon, as we all know as well. I think he's got a 90 million release clause in his deal with Sporting Lisbon as well as Bruno Fernandes, but he's still got a contract with Sporting Lisbon till 2023. I think he's a midfielder as well. He's had a good season reportedly with Sporting Lisbon this season reportedly, as well as Bruno Fernandes. But I think reports are coming out from Portugal, was it last month, saying that Man United have made some kind of negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives, of course, well, obviously the ex-Underneath, the ex-Sampdoria player, of course, as well. So potentially Man United have also, you know, been linked with him. Maybe Tanguy Ndombele, you know, could be a good replacement for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So Manchester United, you know, will, you know, think about, you know, replacements for Ander Herrera. Of course, I do think anyway we need a centre defensive midfielder that's faster and tenacious, you know, to be quite honest with you as well, because potentially Matic is too slow. I've got strong reservations about him, plus he's aging up, of course, as well. So anyway, we need a centre defensive midfielder, you know, guys, to be quite honest with you. But potentially, you know, obviously Solskjaer's in search for a right back, as we all know as well. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's identified, you know, his top 3 targets, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. So potentially, I think one of his prime targets, I think, is Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But it's good that Solskjaer is monitoring and interesting quite a few young players, you know, that are upcoming talents, of course, as well. And of course, they're all British as well, you know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho reportedly as well. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a right back, of course, and in my opinion, he would be a professional success. He would be, a perfect successor, you know, to Antonio Valencia. I think he'd be a good upgrade to Antonio Valencia, to be quite honest with you. You know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is 21. He's very, very young indeed. So far, he spent the entirety of his playing career with Crystal Palace, of course, as well. He only broke into their senior team in February of last year, of course, as well. But I think his defensive capabilities are very, very good. Wan-Bissaka, to be quite honest with you, I think, you know, he's that type of player that's got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, reports have been coming out saying that Manchester United are preparing to put a £35 million bid in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, reportedly as well. I think he's valued at around £40 million, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, to be quite honest with you as well. But we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. So potentially he's been mentioned mentioned in the media. We do know that Declan Rice as well has also been mentioned in the media. He's another player that could potentially maybe replace Ander Herrera, of course, as well. Declan Rice, West Ham player. Reportedly, he's had a good season with West Ham this season as well. I think he can play as a centre back, but I think he's mainly a holding midfielder. To be quite honest here, is Declan Rice. He has got a contract with West Ham till 2025. I think he signed this back in December. Did Declan Rice, of course, as well. So I think potentially he's one of Manchester United's targets as well. We do know the club's number one priority target is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. There's been a narrative going on about it for the last 4 or 5 weeks that Manchester United have been linked with Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. I do think we need someone on the right hand side. Someone that can play between the bylines, someone that can put them crosses into the box, of course, as well. And I think Jadon Sancho is capable of doing that. We could still maybe in the summer end up paying a 9-figure sum of around £100 million for Jadon Sancho, because that's what potentially Borussia Dortmund, may want for the player, of course, as well. But he's had a good couple of years in Germany, is Jadon Sancho, of course, and obviously he's the former Manchester City player where I think he served a couple of years with Manchester City as well. But if we came to agreement to get him in the summer, it would probably make him the most expensive English footballer ever, of course, as well, Jadon Sancho. But yeah, it'd be a great addition if he came in, and I think Jadon Sancho, and that's the type of players Manchester United should be going for. Only very, very young, only just recently turned 19 years of age, one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. And I think Jadon Sancho is the solution to Manchester United problems, and of course he is a winger, of course, well, but he still remains under contract with Dortmund until 2022. Borussia Dortmund, of course, have been known for doing business with the players, and financially Borussia Dortmund would make a huge profit on the player, because Borussia Dortmund only paid around £8 million for Manchester City a couple of years ago. But Manchester United, I think we believe we can still maybe get him for around £80 million, something like that. So reportedly that trio of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho reportedly could cost Man United in total of around £170 million, as reports did say. And reports the other day came out saying reportedly Solskjaer's top 3 targets, reportedly as well. That's what it said according to the media. So there's been quite a few players that Manchester United have been interested in, of course. We don't know what's happening with Paul Pogba, as we all currently know as well. I think there's been a lot of talks going on that Solskjaer is obviously, Solskjaer is okay, I think, as we all know, and Pogba, was very, very ineffective, against, Watford, of course, as well. So potentially I think Solskjaer is considering a tactical swift for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. Because mainly, I think he's actually thinking about operating him in a defensive role, to be quite honest with you, Paul Pogba. We do know he's been one of our most influential players, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, of course, as well. But potentially, there has been a lot of speculation going on that he could potentially, make a move to Real Madrid this summer, of course. Solskjaer's had his say on the whole situation. Solskjaer's basically said that Paul Pogba remains happy at Manchester United, and maybe Solskjaer still thinks that Paul Pogba's got a big future at Manchester United, of course, as well. So potentially there's been a lot of push, linking him with a move to Real Madrid, of course, as well. Potentially, his agent Raiola has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club and all that, and his agent Raiola has had a couple of negotiations with Real Madrid about a summer move. He's had a couple of I think he's been to Manchester, to have more talks about Paul Pogba, of course, as well. And potentially, Paul Pogba, I think he admitted himself, because reports coming out from Spain that it's been revealed that he's made a decision on his Manchester United future, and reportedly he intends to make a move to Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. So he's said a lot about Real Madrid, of course, and he's described them as a dream club. He dreams playing for them, and all this. He said Madrid's a dream for anyone, and he said it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. Did Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So what you can indicate that of what he said, I don't think potentially he's intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. I think Real Madrid, were linked with Paul Pogba back in 2016. Of course, Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of Paul Pogba, of course. Zinedine Zidane, likes him a lot, and Zinedine Zidane has suggested, that Paul Pogba, could make a move to the Santiago Bernabeu, of course, as well. Because obviously Zinedine Zidane has identified quite a few targets. Reportedly, he's going to get around £300 million to spend at Real Madrid, of course, this summer, Zinedine Zidane, because I think potentially Florentino Perez is going to be giving him this as well. But he's identified quite a few targets as Zinedine Zidane, as we all know, and I think potentially, Paul Pogba's one of them. He did reportedly say that Real Madrid are preparing to put a bidding of around £125 million for Paul Pogba, reportedly as well. It did say he's also demanding insignificant pay rises. Paul Pogba was demanding, and that if he was to go to Madrid, he was demanding an annual wage of around £14 million, which would potentially make him the highest paid player, of course, at Real Madrid, as we all know. But if any offers do come for Pogba this summer, reportedly Manchester United are set to turn them down, of course, as well. But he still remains under contract with Man United till 2021, of course, so he's still got over 2 years left on his deal, as Paul Pogba, of course. course, as well. But he's been one of our most influential players since Solskjaer's come in. Overall, his performances have been fantastic, and I think he performs better, when he's in more of a free role. He provides better service to the front men. He plays them delicate passes through, of course, and he's been in scintillating form, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in. I know he had a poor game against Watford, but overall, mainly he's been very, very good indeed as Paul Pogba. And there has been talks about him, making a possible return back to Juventus as well. His former club, where he spent 4 years and he did really, really well. And Manchester United, of course, paid £89 million for him. Obviously, he's our most expensive signing at the moment as well. So potentially, Man United won't let him go. Solskjaer said he's not going anywhere, and Solskjaer says that Paul Pogba remains happy at Manchester United, of course, as well. So as I potentially said, players are going to leave United in the summer, as we all know. Valencia's on his way out of the club, as I said. I think Rojo could be on his way out. I think Matty or Darmian could be on his way out as well, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time here. I definitely think that Sanchez is on his way out as well. So definitely, players are going to leave Manchester United, of course, this summer, as we all know as well. But overall, since Solskjaer's coming, mainly the results have been good. The performances have been good. He's been getting the best out of the players, which is very, very good indeed. And potentially, it's been a fantastic experience for him so far, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, working with the coaches, the playing staff, and all that, the coaches, the staff, and the players, of course, as well, which is very, very good indeed. But the most essential thing is that he's got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, and get the type of players, that have the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, as well. And he's been identifying, an interest, in quite a few young players, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is very, very good indeed. So potentially it's essential that we do get the right players this summer, of course. And obviously we've got a board that can invest, who Solskjaer, wants to bring to Manchester United this summer. And obviously he's already making plans for the summer, because obviously he's been in regular contact, with Ed Woodward, of course, as well. So potentially he wants to get a right back in. I think he wants to add depth in that midfield. I think his priority is to recommend the right winner, to come in, of course, as well. So yeah, big game tonight for Manchester United, as I did say, against Wolves, as we all currently know. We do know it's going to be a tough game, of course, as well. But actually, we've performed better away from home than we actually have at home, believe it or not, to be quite honest with you, as well. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, because Wolves have had a good season this season. Nuno Santos doing a pretty decent job, to be quite honest here, as well. As I did say at the beginning of the video, I do think, changes will be made tonight, to be quite honest here, as well. Changes will be made. He may rotate the midfield. Lukaku could be involved. I think Martial, yeah, he's available as well, which is very, very good indeed. I think I've forgot to mention, I think Baye's still out. Darmian's still out, of course. Valencia is still out as well, and we do know, obviously, Alexis Sanchez, of course, is still out as well. So potentially, I think Lingard, should be starting the game tonight, of course, as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens, and we will see who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer currently goes with as well. We'll see who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer currently goes with as well. So the most essential thing is, I think Man United are on the brink of getting a director of football to come in. So that's going to change the club structure, obviously, which is very, very good indeed, guys, as we all know. But obviously we've got to now try and find a replacement for Ander Herrera. Maybe some Manchester United fans are glad, that Ander Herrera is currently going. I'm not one of them, to be quite honest as well, because he's been a very, very consistent player for Manchester United, of course, and he's been very good under Solskjaer. I know under Jose Mourinho he wasn't getting that, game time that he would have liked, Ander Herrera, of course, as well. But it's looking likely he's going to PSG on a free at the end of the season, of course. So you can say Man United have thrown £30 million away, of course. So we just couldn't convince him to sign a new contract. We was demanding £200,000 a week. Man United were not willing to meet what he was demanding. So potentially he's on his way out of the club, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel, as always, and take care.